I'm here in Apura, Suriname with a beautiful young Surinamese red-tail boa. Today we're going to purchase some snakes from a trapper and take them back into the wild. But before we bring them back into the wild, we're going to use them for a snake education program that we're going to do for the locals. So this is kind of like introducing people to snakes who are afraid of snakes, because many of the locals, including the hunters and trappers, are afraid of these snakes. But look how beautiful this Surinamese red-tail boa is. All right, let's roll that logo and then we'll get to it. Heading over to Kurt's right now to see what he has. I heard that he has a boa and I think maybe a emerald tree boa, and so red-tail boa, I think an emerald tree boa, and some cooks, which are Amazon tree boas. So we'll take those two. We'll use those for the snake education and release them. You're okay.
Oh, he's cranky.
It's just a hook. It's okay. I know it's such a big boa. I know it's scary. Oh, look at that. Okay, pal. Yeah, I'm gonna swing this. I'm gonna swing him your way, Amy. Okay. Okay, coming out, coming out, coming out. All right, we'll bring him right out here. Okay. You guys, look at this big, beautiful boa. We're gonna just kind of let him sort of be relaxed a little bit. I think maybe for the snake education, we'll show him, you know, but we're not gonna let anybody handle this one. He's
aggressive.
well, he's not aggressive. He's very defensive. He's good. He is good at being defensive.
I don't want anything to do with you.
But Kurt, but Kurt,
defensive.
Kurt, hold on, listen though. Here's the difference, Kurt. If he was aggressive, he'd be chasing after you. All he's doing is when I come up to him, he's gonna strike at me because he sees me as a predator.
Yeah.
Right? That's defensive.
Okay.
And he's good at being defensive.
Yeah.
Right? But aggressive is he sees you and runs after you. They would never do that. Right?
A snake would never do that.
No, they would never chase you.
Never chase you.
Absolutely not. Yeah. So what we're gonna do is put him in a bag, or actually we're gonna let Dave film with him, and then we're gonna let Dave film with this one.
I gotta film with him after I get my shirt on.
I always say that a non-venomous snake bite is never really a big deal, but it kind of is when it ruins your shirt. When the snake bites through and it gets blood on your shirt, then it's a bigger deal because then you gotta buy a new shirt. But other than that, it's not that big of a deal. This is a large boa. He bit me in the arm. It doesn't hurt, but it does bleed. So, dang. I know, buddy. We're going to get you in a bag and you're going to be much happier. I promise. I promise. And until then, we'll just let you do your thing. How about that?
He's a really good
He's
backward
like,
slitherer.
If I slither away slowly, nobody will notice where I'm going. Oh, I know, buddy. So we're buying that red-tail boa from Kurt and we're going to release it. In contrast, here's an emerald tree boa that we're also buying from Kurt. This is a snake that has been worked with for a few minutes, totally handleable, totally cool. Now, out of the wild, we're dealing with individual snakes. These are wild snakes. You kind of never know how a certain snake is going to react. However, what I found and what Amy Benzie has found with these emeralds is that if you gently work with them for a little bit, they do just fine. The boas that I've found in the wild are super defensive, do not want to be messed with. They're going to make all that noise. They're going to strike like crazy. These guys will strike a little bit up front, but once they realize that you are not a predator, they calm right down. It's pretty interesting. Anyway, I think we have a couple of these. Amy, do we have a couple of these that we're buying from Kurt, or just this one individual? Okay, so we got this, and then we have the Amazon tree boas, and they're a whole different personality too. But you know, these, especially northern emeralds, have the reputation of being super bitey. You don't want to mess with them, and I believe they have that reputation because people don't work with them because they do have very big teeth. They have much bigger teeth than that boa that just bit me, and you don't want to get bit by one. It's kind of would hurt. It's not going to send you to the hospital, but it would hurt. And because of that, I think people are afraid to work with their snakes to calm them down. But we're working with wild animals out of the wild. That really the only northern emerald tree boas that I've really worked with are wild ones. And I've worked with a number of them now in these last 2 trips to Suriname, and they've all been great. check out this little green tree viper. This is a venomous snake that was caught. We're not taking it to release it because it was promised to somebody else, so we can't. But we're just bringing it out to show you guys. Beautiful little viper that you don't want much closer than about here. At least I don't. But the other thing that I want to mention, you guys, is that, you know, when I say that we're purchasing snakes from these hunters, trappers, whatever, first of all, it's not illegal in Suriname to do that. This is something that these people do. It's one of the few things that they can do here in Apora for money. And so there's nothing nefarious going on, but we want to try to take as many of these snakes as we can while we're here and just interrupt the export process and get them back out into the wild. And that's another thing is, you know, a lot of people are going to say, oh, you're just supporting the practice by giving them money for this. You shouldn't do that. These snakes are not in the market yet. They're just in the export process. So they will all be sold. They'll all be, you know, the exporter is who buys them from the middleman or the hunters, trappers. And he'll always buy the snakes. There's no question as to whether these snakes will be sold. So it's not a market situation. It's not like a store where if you support the store, that just makes them buy more snakes or whatever. It's not that situation. These snakes are currently in the export process. They will continue going through the export process. We're just interrupting it for these individual snakes to release them. Unfortunately, this one is already promised to somebody, so we can't interrupt it for this snake, but the other ones, we're going to. So this is a little northern emerald tree boa that we got from our friend Kurt, who's a middleman. And this was brought to him by a trapper or maybe somebody who just found this little snake. And this is under a year old, but you're seeing some green in the reds. So I think he's starting to go through his octogenic color change, which is really cool. He's going to turn all green. But we're going to bring him back out into the jungle because the best scenario for him is not to be born in the jungle and then go into somebody's cage that buys him for cheap because he was wild caught and they're not quite sure how to take care of him, so they don't give him the correct parameters, and then he just struggles and maybe has a shorter life than normal. But, you know, obviously in the jungle, he could become prey for something, but also it's kind of where he belongs. Look at him. He loves me. He's crawling onto my hand. Do you see how much he loves me, you guys?
He loves you guys, too. He's coming right to you.
I know. Look at how handsome this one is. It's a good way to carry an Amazon tree boa without getting tagged.
I got my snakes, my bloody arm, my umbrella so that I don't get more sunburned.
We have a few people coming over right about now to do some snake education stuff, people that are brave and want to learn a little bit about snakes. And I think we'll have a handful of people, although I don't know that the Facebook announcement went out to as many people as we were hoping, because we were having internet connection problems. But the idea here, I've done this twice now, and the idea is to work with the snakes that we have here and see which ones are the most docile, because, you know, normally in the United States we would do a snake education with our pet snakes that are socialized, and here they don't have pet snakes that are socialized, so we do it with wild snakes. And this little boa is a wild snake. He likes to run a little bit, but he's very calm and he hasn't tried to bite yet. So anyway, this little boa is my choice of snake to let people interact with a little bit, because he's just been very calm the whole time.
That means you're speechless, right?
Dutch, yes.
Yes.
Are you? Does it make you nervous to hold the snake? Does it make you nervous or scared a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're doing great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you were here last time. Yeah, I was.
Have you held an emerald before?
This is my first time.
That's your first one?
Yeah. I actually held some snake before, but this is the first
But not
time
an
with
emerald?
this one, yeah.
What do you know about emeralds?
Actually nothing, except they're not poisonous.
Yeah, right. Not poisonous. That's true. Do you know which ones are poisonous in the?
Yeah, there are some other snakes, yeah, they're poisonous. Yeah.
Do you know which ones they are?
Yeah, only the names I know, maybe not the names you know.
Right. That's right. That's right. Yeah. So I know like fertile ants and green viper.
You see, I don't recognize those.
Okay. But it's the same ones that we're thinking of, though.
Which one is it?
Labaria.
Oh, the Labaria.
Labaria. That's fertile ants. That's right. You guys call it labaria. Yeah. But these big snakes, or the ones that get big, aren't venomous. The thing about the green ones, though, they have very big teeth. So if this boa were to bite me, it wouldn't cause much damage. It would go into my skin a little bit, but these snakes have very big teeth, and so it would maybe go into the muscle. It would hurt. It wouldn't be a huge problem, but it would hurt.
Or you will feel pain.
Yeah. None of them are trying to hurt us. No, there's no snake that wants to chase us or wants to bite us or anything. They're just, they're born with, they're just a head and they're a long tube with a head, which is really scary. They don't have any arms, no legs, nothing. All they have is a mouth, right? And so everything in the world wants to eat them when they're born, and they know it. And so they're born very defensive, thinking that everything's going to want to eat them. So that's why they bite. It's because they're defensive. But they're not trying to go around and bite people. Like, they want to stay away from people as much as possible. But he doesn't feel like his life is threatened. So snakes that bite feel like their life is threatened. That's the only reason they bite. What'd you say, Auntie Mag?
If you step on them, they would bite.
Absolutely. If you step on them, they'll bite. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you were holding.
But if you just walked by them, it's probably okay as long as they don't think their life is threatened. Yeah, you can hold that back there. Isn't that beautiful? The tail, the way. Yeah, they wrap around because he wants to be in a tree, so he's wrapping around your finger like you're a stick, to hang on to you like you're a stick. So this one that Amy has is a baby Cook's, and it's maybe 3 or 4 months old. And did you see it bite me right there? So it can't even get its teeth in me. It has teeth, and I sort of felt it, but I'm not. Oh, there's a little drop of blood right there, little tiny. But come on, that's not, like, you can't even feel it, right? You can't even feel it. It's not a big deal at all. Oh no.
Ooh.
So, just defending himself. So I'm just stepping away really quick to talk about this, that this is kind of what happened last time too, which is that people show up having never touched a snake, having heard all kinds of myths about snakes, and I think that the myths about snakes that I hear in my country are crazy, but the myths here go as far as, like, the snake will put a curse on you, all kinds of stuff like that. And so they go from that to, in just a few minutes, most of these people, except Auntie Mag, but we give her a pass, will touch the snake, hold the snake, and they're smiling, just learning that snakes are not evil creatures that maybe they were taught by their family. Now, Auntie Mag is someone that we love very much, and she is extremely afraid of snakes, to a phobia, and if I wanted to work with her for a while, maybe I'd get her to touch a snake, but it's probably okay. She's in her 70s, and there's no reason for her to be messing with snakes anyway. What do you think of snakes?
It's very good, and I love them. And
You do love them?
yes, and I really want to keep one.
Really? What kind? Which one do you want to keep? Which kind?
I want to keep that.
The green one?
Yes.
The green snake? Yeah.
I'll try them green.
Yeah, they're pretty cool, right?
Yes.
And you'd never held a snake before, huh? Or had you?
No, this is the first time I'm holding one.
Were you nervous?
At first, but when I'm getting to know them good, then I won't be nervous.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens, right? When you're scared of something,
Yes.
you get to know it, you learn about it a little bit, and then you're not scared anymore.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
When I held the 3 snakes, and it felt pretty good.
Yeah?
And I really want to keep one.
Tell me your name again.
Aryan.
Adian.
Yes.
And how old are you, Adian?
I'm 10.
10 years old.
Yes.
That the way you think about that is really great. It's really smart, because this is what anytime we're scared of anything, if we just learn a little bit about it and experience a little bit, then we learn that our fears usually aren't needed, right? Yeah. So that's great. I'm glad you're liking the snakes.
Yes.
Let's go find another one for you to hold.
Okay.
Now, Arian, just make sure when you're holding these, you're doing it right. That's perfect. You wanna always hold, especially at the neck, under the snake instead of over like this, because a predator, something that's trying to kill the snake, is going to come from the top, right? So if you go from under, if it doesn't feel like
I want to kill him.
that's right, it doesn't feel like you want to kill him. That's true. So we just kind of go under. And this is why these snakes are so calm, because they've been treated so nicely. They're not being held like a predator would grab them, you know? That's perfect. That is perfect. This is a northern emerald tree boa that has the reputation of being a super bitey snake in the United States. In the United States. In the United Snakes. Is that what I said? Yep. Take two. But I'm leaving it all in. The emerald tree boa, especially the northern, has a reputation of being super bitey in the United States. I pronounced it. And here where they're from, Suriname, they're really not. We have found basically 100% of these that we can work with a little bit end up just like this after they realize that they're not going to be murdered. And most species are not like that, actually. The boa constrictor, here, let's look at this so we can see ourselves on camera. The boa constrictor is not necessarily like that, although the one that I brought down is, but that's just an individual. The Cooks, or the Amazon tree boa, is not like that. But these emeralds really relax once they're being handled properly and they know that you're not gonna hurt them. Under normal circumstances, I would not be letting a child hold a wild emerald because there's always a risk of the snake biting. But these are the snakes that these people are the most interested in, meaning there's the most lore around them. That they're poisonous or they're mean or whatever, and just oftentimes anytime anybody sees any green snake, it gets killed. So allowing them to interact with one that we have worked with all day and made sure isn't biting is important to do for the people of this community where they're seeing them a lot. But it is something that when I see a child like Arian holding emerald, I want to just be up there, or make sure that somebody is up there kind of managing the head and making sure that the snake's mood isn't changing, you know. But, you know, these people live with these snakes in their neighborhood every day. And so to give them a chance to work with them a little bit and learn a little bit of actual facts about these animals, I think is super valuable.
Somebody over here is in love with snakes. She's gonna go home and build a house so she could get one of her own.
This is a gorgeous snake that I want you to have.
This is a beautiful animal. This is the one that lit up Amy Bentley, who's behind the camera right now, earlier today. She came on this trip having never been bit by a snake. Amy keeps ball pythons, and as we know, you can keep many ball pythons for a very long time and never be bit by a snake. But she came here not having been bit, and then she ended up being bit by some babies, which didn't do anything. But then this one, this one caused some blood, didn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it has calmed down considerably because we pulled this snake out of the box. Do we have footage of that? Am I showing B-roll of this? I bet we have. Yes, we do have footage of it. We pulled this snake out of the box and handed it to you immediately, and it just started biting like crazy. But now it's relaxed.
Super chill.
Yeah.
You want to be super chill.
You want to super chill, slowly walk out here? Because he's chill. He's chill. Nobody's making any big movements in front of him.
Dave Kaufman! I was just about to say, yeah, but now I gotta walk past Dave Kaufman.
Ain't I a stinker? For a snake education, this is not one that I would hand to somebody else, even though it's calmed down. But it has bit enough today that I'm not going to hand this to somebody that's just freshly learning about snakes. But showing it off is a good thing to do. So we'll do that, because look how beautiful. Man.
He's a nice one. It's a very nice one. It's big. It's
So just to say what's going on here, Kurt is the middleman. Kurt is who we get the snakes from. Kurt does not like to interact with snakes at all. He does not touch them.
No,
he is,
I buy, I sell, I make my little profit. Okay, don't touch them, but I'm having interaction with them today.
This is the best moment ever.
Kurt, is this the first time in the years that you've been a middleman? Is this the first time that you've had 2 emerald tree boas?
Of course, I know.
All right, and now can you demonstrate milking the venom out of a viper?
Now you've got 3, by the way.
I'm not.
Actually, let's see how many snakes we can actually get on Kurt.
You're doing so good with this snake.
I love that.
You love which one? Oh, that one? The smaller one? Yeah.
I want to take him.
What's that?
I want to take him.
You want to take him? Yeah, he's got to go back in the wild, but they're pretty great, huh? So we're on the road back to Paramaribo, and we've got these snakes that we bought from Kurt and the other hunter, Terry, and we're gonna set them loose right here. This is a good spot. It's about halfway, and I feel like it would have been better to set them loose 6-7 hours upriver like we normally do, but we ended up getting them after our river trip. So we're gonna do the next best thing, which is set them loose here in the jungle. Super pretty out here. We got a bridge and I guess a river or creek, stream, I don't know what you call it, but body of water. I'm gonna call it a body of water over here. And these snakes are gonna do great.
How many do we have?
I have all of them.
All right, well,
Right
here,
here, but
I'll
I
take...
have 2. Hey, don't bite me. I have 2 right here. Look at that. There you go. Look at that's your reward for being such a good biter. You get to go free. That's how you do it. You get caught, you bite somebody, and they set you free. We've got our little boa here, and Dave is going to release it on his channel, but I'll show you the behind the scenes on mine. Here we go.
You know what? I like that place better. I was going to release him here where Bob said, but I just don't see a ton of cover for him to escape to. So we're just going to move a little bit further towards the river over. And I like this area. We've got plenty of hiding places in here. Plenty of places for him to go, plenty of food source, and this is just, look at this, such a beautiful area.
That's a perfect spot.
This is the perfect spot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. There you go, buddy.
Some of you might be wondering about the larger, more feisty boa that we had, and that animal did a maneuver that I like to call a self-release. We had one on my last trip that did the same thing, but this one did it in a different way. It's not really my story to tell, though. Although I will make a video and put it on Patreon and let you guys know what happened. But just know that he got away in an area where he's safe and he's going to be fine. This is the little emerald tree boa that I bought from Kurt back in Apura. And we're going to release him on the ground near some vines. And the reason we're going to do it on the ground is because these guys are often found on the ground. Not even waist level, not even shin level, but on the ground. But my guess is since he's been with humans for a day, he's going to want to do whatever behavior makes him feel safest. And that might be climbing. So we want to give him some options of places to go. There's a lot of logs around here. He can hide in. He can climb up to the top of something if he wants, or he can just get under the leaves if he wants to do that. Here we go. We're going down to the ground. I think he's going to want to climb.
Let's find out what he does.
I'm just going to set him here and then we can let him go. He's going to figure out his bearings, and we'll sit here and make sure he gets to a good spot.
Okay, so Bob, you're gonna do the honors with this one.
Yeah, this is our biggest one, I think. love watching them climb.
I know.
Watching an arboreal snake climb is the most relaxing, meditative thing.
I couldn't agree more. Right up the vines. And yeah.
I also always expect them to go in a certain spot, and they never do what I expect.
Right.
It's almost like they have better ideas than I do.
Well, sweetheart, I'm going to put you right on this vine here. You're going to know where to go from here. Look at that.
That is such a big snake. We're not quite done yet, but I want to acknowledge my friends who support this channel on patreon.com/greenroompythons. These are the horde of keepers, and this trip to Suriname would not have been possible without their contributions. It's kind of like public television, where support comes from the people who care about the channel. They get extra perks and extra content, behind the scenes stuff, as well as involvement in this community of positive and uplifting reptile keepers. I'm extremely grateful for them because not only would I not be doing this trip if it weren't for them, I probably wouldn't even be doing this channel. Also, big thanks to the channel sponsors, Black Box Cages, which is a great place to go for any reptile enclosure, Lane Labs for healthy and clean frozen rodents, and the Royals Project, who is producing some incredible ball pythons. You can find all their info in the description below. Amy Bentley, you're gonna release this baby? Sweet little baby. These snakes are all so healthy. You know, this baby, it's not a baby, but it's a juvenile. The juveniles are thinner, but that is not a thin snake, really, by any means for the species, especially in the wild. And the biggest one that Dave just released is a monster. Like, that snake is well fed. So these snakes are not going without food here in the Amazon jungle. Hey guys, check that out. Saving snakes and educating people all in one video. Amazing, right? Anyway, if you're buying a pet animal, don't buy wild caught. I think we've made that point. But listen, if you want to see more videos like this, check out patreon.com/greenroompythons. That helps out the channel. Plus, you'll get a ton of perks. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.
Guys, that was it. Signing off. Bye.